Eric, the movie's called Ash. Just, I don't want you to get confused.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name is Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Ash. It's a movie in theaters. Why is it in the theaters? Your guess is as good as mine, but we're going to talk about it.
Oh, wow.
Joining me next up on the show,
The gloves are off.
First up from the Bay Area of San Francisco. She's very relaxed tonight. Please welcome Rachel to the show.
I'm number one. I don't think I've ever been introduced first. Sorry, guys.
Next up tonight from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And last up tonight from his living room with a real internet connection from Manhattan, New York City, please welcome John Schnars to the show.
It's the realest, Eric. It's as real as it's going to get.
John, you pretend like you don't love me, but then you actually like move in your living room for me.
Well, look, behind the scenes here, Suzanne is away. And I was like, I could record
is
in the
that what
living
got
room.
it? So I shouldn't get used to this.
No, absolutely not. I'll be back
Son of a
on.
bitch.
I'll be back on Hell Connection next week. Don't worry.
So, we're here to talk about Ash tonight. I'm trying to be extra stilted in my intro, John, for that guy in YouTube who doesn't like me. So, hope he's enjoying.
If anyone is worried that Eric doesn't read and personally digest all of the YouTube comments,
There's not that many. It's not hard to personally digest.
Yeah,
Like people
no,
aren't
no.
like lighting up our YouTube, except our lovely live viewers.
no, the chatter, but every once in a while you get to like notice like, hey, someone posted on an episode from like whatever 6 weeks ago, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Honestly, as a student of the hater arts, I appreciated his hating of me, but also like it kind of made me feel good because like you just like know you got under someone's skin. I really enjoyed it. I still think about it sometimes. So
Oh, yeah,
shout out to
I get
guy.
that.
I don't remember his name. All right, let's take a quick break and talk about Ash.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
And we're back. First of all, nothing weirder than or more surreal than seeing a Shutter bumper in a theater. It almost jump scared me. I was like, fucking Shutter. Like, what the? Yeah, I'm so used to just hearing that on my television. It's strange.
I mean, they've been doing a lot more. I mean, there's
It's just
I feel like I got a
it's-
few of them in my previews too. Like there were
Yeah.
like a handful of
interesting.
like Shutter movies in my
It's
previews.
still surreal to me. But also, I go to the theater. I went late Tuesday night. I saw when I purchased, there was one other person who had purchased a ticket. There were 3 rows in the middle. They're kind of in the middle. I know this theater, so I went back row because that's where the best angle is, right? I get there, no one's there. I sit down. A guy walks in, and he comes all the way up to my row, and he sits 3 seats away from me. And no one else showed up, so I fucking know it's the guy who purchased the ticket a couple rows down.
Can you explain how the back row is the best row? I have
They're
never
small
had that
theaters.
experience.
So if
I
it's a
see.
large theater, I'm going middle. Like generally, I'm like H to I. That's where I'm sitting. In this theater, I was the back row.
So my play is 4th row in most of the AMC's in the city.
Not in the front though. You mean like? Well, I don't know what a city theater.
No,
looks
man, 4th row. I
Like
like
you're
it so
staring
that-
up at it.
No, I like it. No, because they're on an angle usually. Like the seats are on like an angle, and then I like it where I don't want to have to turn my head to see either side of the screen, but I also don't want to see like a ton of extra stuff. I'm like, I want the screen to be as big as possible.
No, I don't want to have to move my head.
I'm not moving
insane.
my head
That's an
that much.
insane
I
take.
mean, it's like
Yeah,
it's
that's
more moving your
crazy, dude.
eyes.
You know what I'm doing? This.
It's
I'm just
moving my
looking ahead
eyes. My eyes
because
are
it's
moving.
fully in my field of view.
Is the regular seat to recliner seat affect the where you guys end up? Because I feel like if you are in a recliner,
Well, the
closer to
recliner
the screen
theaters-
is better.
Well, the
Yeah.
recliner theaters are also smaller usually. I feel like, right?
Not in the
I guess.
city.
I
Not
mean,
in New
I guess
York
it depends. I
necessarily.
guess it
Yeah.
depends. Yeah.
No, our theater's got 12 screens and they all got the recliners. But like I saw this in like the 5-row theater.
Yeah.
This feels like a recliner movie theater, like movie,
Listen.
like
Listen, regardless of what row I
would've
was
been-
in, there was no reason for this guy to sit next to me. And in
No,
between
yeah,
the
that's
trailers,
we can all
and he-
agree on that.
But in between the trailers, he starts talking to me as if I am his friend who went to this movie with him. Like he
Oh,
wants
no.
to he wants to MST 3K with me. You can imagine how well I took that. I just first of all, I don't know if I'm going to get murdered. I'm in a theater alone with another creepy weird dude. Like, and sure, I also look like a creepy weird dude, but like that's why we don't talk. That's the rule of the that's the rule. So
So wait, he did start talking, or he did not start talking?
he was trying to talk. He was trying to make like comments in between the trailers. Like he wanted me to laugh with him. And
No,
then
no,
towards the
that's-
end, when the movie just got just too silly to almost describe, we're gonna try. Like he was doing it again. He was starting to riff on the movie and looking at me, expecting some kind of
Dude,
camaraderie.
I legitimately would have like died. I think if that happened to me. In the
No, it was
theater.
terrible. Yeah, it was terrible.
You should have just turned and stared at him like your demonstration a second ago. With the dead-eyed stare at the screen, just
No,
staring
I feel
in
like
the
eye
eyes.
contact is dangerous, Casey. That's not going to get you where you want to be. But yeah. Anyway, I'm alive. So, huzzah. All right, John. Please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is terraform. That's TERRAFORM. Terraform. This the definitions, especially in science fiction, to transform a planet, and planet is also in sort of parentheses here, so as to resemble the Earth, especially so that it can support human life. Terraform. This is one of those where I feel like you can kind of guess the etymology: terra, earth, and form. You know, make stuff. But Wikipedia claims the term was coined by Jack Williamson in a science fiction short story, Collision Orbit, published in 1942.
wow.
They credit Carl Sagan with sort of more generally popularizing. I mean, Carl Sagan popularized a lot of science stuff, so not surprising. He apparently wanted or thought there was a plausible path to terraforming Venus.
Interesting.
Venus.
Venus. It's pretty hot
That's
from
yeah, it was
from
like,
what I
My
remember.
understanding was that's a
warm.
tough one.
It's a lot of work.
If you put like a bunch of water down there, maybe it would, who knows?
Carl
We should
Sagan,
go
John,
moon.
Carl Sagan, John, one of those like thinkers that has sort of had, you wouldn't know this, but has had kind of a renaissance on social media. I feel like I see.
Oh. I thought you were
see a
going to
lot
tell
of-
me he was like bad.
People
now, and I
love
was like,
people
that's
love
crazy.
to take just a brainy, deep Carl Sagan quote and just put some weird music behind it and some video of the universe and stuff.
If you asked my dad today, like name your 5 favorite like people, he might name Carl Sagan as one of them. Like he just
he's
has
a-
always been
he's a
obsessed with
cool
Carl
guy,
Sagan.
yeah.
So yeah.
Love it, John. Tell me about Ash.
Yeah, Ash. As we sort of mentioned off the top, this is a Shutter joint. RLJE and Shutter, I think. And directed by this guy Flying Lotus. I did like a little bit of looking at the Flying Lotus situation. He, I
Now
mean,
that's
look,
a
I was
movie title.
well, I just saw the name and I'm like, is this a group of people? You know, like we've had movies directed by groups of people
Yes, I
that
had
go by
questions.
things. Yeah. But no, Flying Lotus primarily or originally known as sort of like a musician, music producer, composer, but has been transitioning into film and sort of I guess some TV. Yeah, but it looks like just film. He directed a feature called Kuso, which I'm not familiar with, but I just briefly looking at it in a similar vein of sort of like pretty out there horror thing. And then he was on VHS 99, which I actually haven't seen. I think that's like the
seen
one
that
I
one either.
missed.
I've seen
but
all of
he-
them, unfortunately.
He directed one of those.
Do you know which one? What's it called?
He directed Ozzy's Dungeon. It was like apparently there was like a game show that like a girl was on, and then
John. That is the worst segment that has ever appeared in a VHS movie, and I'm not. That's not hyperbole.
you get out of here.
Anger, rage-inducing, terrible segment.
Wow.
God awful segment. Yeah. In the worst
okay.
VHS movie, he's got the worst segment, so that tracks.
Well, so that's where we're starting. Flying Lotus. Ash stars. And I'll say Johnny Remler is the writer. Stars Isa Gonzalez
Okay,
as
I take it back. If he didn't write it, I actually have more beef with the writer than the rest of it.
of the movie. I don't know who wrote the Ozzy's Basement Situation or Ozzy's.
We only have so much time
Okay.
to fix things tonight.
So we've got Isa Gonzalez as Rhea. She wakes up in a space station in a base on a distant planet. It's pretty obvious right out of the gate. We're in sort of sci-fi world. She's got a cut on her head. She's walking around the base and seeing all of her compatriots dead, murdered mostly. There's like a guy with a knife in his chest. There's like other people killed in different ways, and but she can't remember anything. And she starts to try to like move around. She's like goes outside like without a helmet on, and she can like breathe a little bit, but then she has to go back inside. Eventually, she starts to remember things, and also eventually, Aaron Paul shows up, who is sort of the other, I would say, primary character.
Aaron Paul John, for those who don't know,
Yeah,
Breaking Bad.
yes. Other things, but yeah, Breaking Bad primarily.
Let's be real.
Jesse.
He was also in the like Need for Speed movie, I want to say too.
Yes.
So
Interesting.
as Breaking Bad was ending, that Need for Speed movie came out, and it was clearly a play to like try to, because Breaking Bad's popularity just continued to like upward trajectory pretty much right into the finale. And
I mean,
think
for
it was
you,
kind-
it's continued to upward
Well,
trajectory.
I'm a special kind of person, John.
Yeah.
But I think it seemed really clearly like an attempt to sort of launch his career off of the high of sort of that final season, because they were promoting it during the finale. It came out right after, totally bombed and just disappeared. But it was almost trying to set him up as like an action-y, Fast and Furious kind of dude. I didn't see it, so I can't speak for the quality on it. But and he was in
mean-
that Red Mirror episode, the space one.
Which was great.
That one was
incredible.
great.
Wait, Black Mirror, or
hurt
was
your
it?
feelings.
No, that whole season was horror themed, and it was, I don't know if they actually officially called it that, but it was like Red Mirror. It was a little spin-off sort of.
I thought you just forgot the name of the show, but
no, I know
you're
what
right.
I'm talking about, John.
No, that one was great. We've talked about that, I feel like, at some
Very
point,
good.
but it was awesome. Yeah, so Aaron Paul, he'd been in like an orbiter around this planet. And so it's sort of gradually revealed there's this team. It was like 6 people, give or take. One of the characters, by the way, played by Flying Lotus. I didn't clock that. I mean, you know, now that I am looking at it and I see his picture, I'm like, oh, yeah. So there's like 6 people, but they're all gone. But now Aaron Paul is there, and they're sort of like trying to figure it out, like what's going on. But meanwhile, she's also having these flashbacks. She's also putting this like patch on her neck that someone's going to need to explain to me what the patch was doing. Because at first I'm like, oh, this is just like a painkiller from the future. But then it also seemed to be suppressing or like allowing her memory. Like when it came off, the memories came back more?
Yeah,
Question mark?
and I thought she was taking it because of going outside without her helmet, like atmospheric sickness.
Yeah, like it was helping her breathe.
Right.
Right. So, all right. So, like, I'm going to try to just get this to a place where we can start talking about the movie. The whole thing is very trippy and psychedelic, like from the jump. All of her sort of visions that she's having are faces turning inside out, and the visualizer on Winamp that you used to stare at, like that. I mean,
Damn.
on a big screen. And
Damn.
so, it's like it's a very, it's very dreamlike, and it's hard to tell what's going on for a large part of this. We can like spoil it, I think, as we go along, but all to say that it becomes clear that there is sort of like a parasitic alien life form now that's like in the base, or has somehow impacted something that's going on in the base. And so then basically the second
You don't
half of
learn
the
that
movie,
though till like 20 minutes left.
I was going to say it's like maybe, is it halfway? I thought it was halfway,
No,
but you might be
maybe.
It's
right.
when they
30
pull that
minutes
panel
max.
off when her memory is back. It's
Yeah, that's third.
final act.
You're right.
reveal.
It's the final act for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all right. So that brings us to the final act. So why don't we stop there and go? We can get into it.
Casey, what you got?
All right. I knew nothing about this one going into it. I hadn't heard of it at all, but until we saw it on the list that was coming out. But I did like Aaron Paul, so I figured I'd jump in. I've seen a couple of Isa Gonzalez movies, or seen her in a couple movies. I didn't think she was that bad. This movie, though, I'm not a fan of. This feels like it's a giant, an attempt to cram The Thing and Alien together. And then they put the load of this movie on Isa Gonzalez's shoulders to try and make her this kind of tough, surviving, trying to figure out what's going on and protecting herself character, kind of like Ripley. And I don't think she has the chops to carry a movie like this. It didn't feel like it anyways. There's a lot of moments in here that I feel like there's a lot of shots of her posing throughout this movie, that she goes in specific ways through specific passageways, etc., and then she stops, makes a face, and then they linger on it for like 5 seconds and move on. That happens a lot throughout this movie instead of like action and things going on. Aaron Paul, once he shows up, I got what I expected out of Aaron Paul. I didn't think he was great. I didn't think he was bad, though. I mean, I got Aaron Paul that I expected, which was fine. But again, where the movie's starting to unfold, this seems like it's pretty obvious that something's fishy with Aaron Paul as we go into it, and it's pretty predictable from the beginning. And ultimately, it was sleepy. There's not enough action in this movie to make it like edge of your seat or anything like that, and it just kind of really fell flat for me. I didn't connect to the characters. I just didn't care too much by the end.
Rachel.
Okay. So I'm going to start with positive things because I feel like this is about to be a rough night. And I do think that there are some things about this that I did like or that I could appreciate. I think it is, to Casey's point, we spent a lot of time looking at this actress and she is enjoyable to look at. But overall, the film is visually quite appealing, I think. I like the super saturated colors. Even the interior of the ship was interesting in that it was like kind of warm and homely as opposed to the typical sort of like utilitarian or post-apocalyptic vibe that you typically get in the sci-fi sort of terraforming kind of movies. So that from an aesthetic point of view, I enjoyed. I also really liked this like cosmic kaleidoscopic skyline situation anytime we leave the ship. Very, very beautiful. A lot of interesting shots. It's like the prettiest screensaver ever through like a lot of this movie.
Come on, it's a Winamp visualizer, obviously. But
I mean, it's not that.
I see
We are
both
staying
arguments.
positive, Mr. Schnars.
no, I'm kidding. I know.
I mean, it's very beautiful. If ultimately all of that is kind of meaningless, which is a bummer because I was quite curious about what we were seeing sort of in this cosmic thing. So like if you are someone who really likes atmosphere, vibes, you just want to like let a movie wash over you. You don't really, you're not there for like quick pace plot beats, things like that. There is certainly an experience that you can have with this movie. I will say, like, if you think this is a good, like, get high and go see it, there's a lot of jump scares in it. There's a lot of suddenly screaming in your face. So, like, stay off the harder things if you're going into the
don't be
theater.
too high, is what she said.
Yeah, don't be too high. I also think on a thematic level, it does sort of nibble around the edges of something that I found pretty interesting. Specifically, the way that, like, ultimately it becomes about this story about the, like, colonizer to restrictionist pipeline that essentially happens. And I like how the way that you interpret, like subjectively interpret the main character also kind of goes on a similar sort of journey mirroring those ideas. And how we ultimately see like the colonizer being colonized, and like it gets into some ideas around the gift of assimilation. There's interesting things here, but I don't think it goes quite far enough with them so that when credits roll, like it doesn't quite land the punch. But I do appreciate the attempt because it added layers to the typical sort of colonizer versus native storyline that we see in films like this oftentimes. Like there is an added nuance that I found more interesting. Ultimately, this movie's kind of like jazz, right? You know, it's like freeform, it's vibes, it's discordant at times, it's challenging in its structure.
Vibes.
But like jazz, ultimately it was not for me. Though I can appreciate the artistry that went into its creation.
just laying out a whole music genre. So,
Sorry.
sorry, Jazz.
I'm with you on that, dude. Jonathan.
Yeah, I am probably between Casey and Rachel, and that here's what I'll say. So Casey mentioned The Thing and what was the other one? Alien. You know, and those for sure. The other one that this is like trying to pull a lot from is Memento, right? Like,
Yeah, I can see
you
that.
spend the first 2 acts of this movie with this woman not really knowing what the hell is going on, and like not even 100% sure when you're in real time or like a memory or a vision. Like there's a lot. It felt to me like a lot. I get annoyed sometimes when movies are overly reliant on the plot device of someone can't remember something and the plot is only moved forward by, oh, then they remembered that thing.
Yeah.
And so now the plot
Yeah.
can move forward.
It's kind of cheap, yeah.
So this does a lot of that. I agree visually. And so I had seen a trailer for this. I think I saw it in front of the Monkey, actually. I got a trailer for this. And I like the look, the aesthetic. I am here for, Rachel, the sky piece, like the glowing cloud situation or whatever you call that effect they're doing with it's glowing. It's cool. I don't 100% understand what was happening with the terraforming specifically. They find this hole in the ground. The hole in the ground is shooting the ash into the air. The movie's called Ash.
Well,
But then
Well, that's the name of the planet.
I took it as that terraforming hole was from an alien culture. That's why they're excited about it.
No,
Well,
no.
they're the original colonizers, right?
Yeah.
Like
That part
yeah.
I got. Wait, so, okay. But then the alien that Parasite infects her, that's not the alien that created the hole in the ground. That's the alien that lived on the planet and killed the people that put the hole in the ground.
No, I think it's the people that put the hole in
I
the
think
ground.
they put the hole in like they are like, we did this. We were here first. This
Yeah.
is,
Yeah,
like,
this is ours. We
You're
don't
not
want you here.
taking. We built this. You can't
Okay.
take this. So I think
All right.
they were actually. They're not native to the planet.
I don't know how they built that giant hole.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Bingo.
They
Okay.
came there from somewhere else and started terraforming it so that they could take it over.
I mean, it info dumps that for you at some point. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
There's
agree
many
with
info dumps in this
the
movie.
fact that what you are saying is true. Where then I get confused is and this whatever, this is like another sci-fi pet peeve of mine. Like this alien race was sufficiently advanced to terraform this planet, but by the time these humans show up, it's basically like a little tiny plant that they have to remove a thing from, and only when they remove the thing, then it goes into the body. Like, why are the aliens not just defending their planet in a more aggressive way? Like that part I was kind of missing.
If you can build
Yeah.
that hole in the ground that
Yeah.
does all that shit, why can't you build a laser gun?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
And
they
just pew pew.
ultimately. I don't know if you stayed for the credits and everything, but they win.
Rachel. My ass ran out of that theater.
Wait,
Okay.
you mean was there like an after credit scene or like a
Yeah.
mid credit scene? Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So, well, don't we spoil it? Yeah, like
Yeah, just tell us now.
Please.
like we see the outside. She makes it to that ship, and you're like, oh, yay! But then
Yeah.
you see the outside of the ship, and it's completely covered in that same.
Yeah.
Like,
And so then
tentacle.
wherever
and
she
this
goes back
isn't-
to, she's
So to
gonna.
say
Right.
that like they're not actively defending it seems like their tactic
But, like-
Well,
works.
because it is like a kind of hive mind thing. So I did take
Yeah.
that as like, oh, they're trying to just assimilate us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to be clear, I did not think the way this movie ended, it was like a happy ending situation.
No,
For
but
her
he-
or anyone. So
Well, in
know.
that it seemed like she had gotten safely off the thing, but
Yeah.
she gets there and it's
All right.
round two.
I'll stop because like that was my other sort of like major complaint was the way she was able to like fairly easily extract that thing. But
Yeah.
whatever, we can come back to it. Eric, I see the floor.
Listen, this thing.
Grab a hold of something. It's about to get rocky.
I think the perfect thing, like Rachel kind of nailed it. Like this movie's all fucking vibes, bro. And the problem is vibes just don't make a fully baked thing. It looks great for a low budget movie. They're getting a lot out of their CG and the setting. I love this kind of swirly sky deal that's going on. There's like a, you know what it reminded me of? Sort of a cheaper version. There was a French film. It actually was broken up and made into a miniseries put on Shudder. That was totally like a synthwave, pink and purple space opera kind of deal. Someone in chat can.
I remember this thing you're talking about, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't
was
think I
weighing in on
watched
it
it.
because the music in that thing,
Yeah.
fucks too. The music in here is great. It's great. The problem is that like look and music are like 60% of it or 30 to 40, whatever. Like it's not the whole package.
Some percentage.
The problem is that the
The number.
script, what this movie basically is like a rejected Black Mirror script. As I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. This is like kind of Black Mirror-y. And I'm like, actually, no. I've never watched an episode of Black Mirror that I didn't leave going like, that was fucking fantastic. This is not up to the quality of Black Mirror, but it's kind of like aping. It's like, you know, it's got that kind of Twilight Zone-y vibe to it, right? Or it feels like if the Sci-Fi Channel made an anthology show, the script is about the quality that you'd see in that. And that's fine. And there's part of me complaining about it being in a theater is like, I'm all for, listen, no shade at the horror section, John. I'm all for a model where small movies can get in. But if you're going to make that play in the theater, you got to be a couple things. You either have to have the scope to be a theatrical film. This doesn't have the money for it. Or you've got to be so tight and bold in your screenwriting that you're presenting an original idea very boldly in a way that gets people's attention. That's why Terrifier 3 did so fucking good. Because people who are just out looking for like a fun time in the theater have never fucking seen anything like Terrifier 3. You could flip through cable now and see 40 things better than this. So why am I in a theater watching this? I don't understand the decision to put it in a theater. It's not good enough, period. The screenwriting is a fucking mess and feels like writing by committee bullshit. Like by the time you get in the third act and you're trying to follow all of the info dump shit happening, you're like, something went severely wrong here. And I will say this for my theater mate, John, he had one great point, which is when
When you guys
when we
were
get
riffing.
when we get into the third act and it starts getting into like the sentient alien but they're also technology.
The eyeball.
He started laughing and he's like, "You're getting into this late in the movie?" And I'm like, he was right. Like it was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Because actually, to Rachel's point, there's some thematically interesting stuff there. I like the idea of weird little wormy things that also intermesh themselves with technology. I'm into like biomech. Great. Awesome. I'm into the hive mind. I think that this dialogue with this alien was really fucking corny and not as like profound or heavy as they seem to think it is. It's just, it was just word salad bullshit.
And
But,
why
like-
didn't they speak through the computer since it was already in it? It would have been cooler.
Instead of making me wait an hour for the meatiest part of the movie and making me wait, to your point, John, through all this amnesia bullshit, just find a way to weave that in way earlier in the movie so that we know we're dealing with like some interesting alien shit going on here.
Yeah.
I don't need
Yeah.
the whole like mystery shit, right?
Well, this is where you spend so much. Literally, the entire Act One is her not knowing what's going on, and so
Yeah.
then we also don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. We don't know what's going on, and they
And-
introduce all these other characters that ultimately don't matter.
I want to give
Yeah.
Casey, and to that point, I want to give Casey a shout too because he nails it. We're 5 minutes in this movie, and all I can think is like, Jesus Christ, can we just get a space crew of people that wasn't influenced just by one of the Alien movies? Is no one capable of writing a unique group of space people? Like, for Christ's sake, I love Alien as much as
You
the
do love
next
Alien.
person.
With no one's ever.
I
accused you of
love
not
all
loving
of
it.
them, John.
Yeah.
But like, good God, like, and
Yeah.
again, that's where this starts to feel like pastiche bordering on like lack of originality. It's like this is like if J.K. Rowling wrote a sci-fi epic. It's like we're just
Shots
pulling.
fired at J.K. Rowling.
Oh,
my
please.
gosh.
She
So, like,
deserves them all.
To use a
I'm not
schnarzism,
defending
this thing
someone or the other.
this thing is aggressively mediocre. And I will concede, I've had 2 very terrible days. So like, I was a little thin in going into this, but good God, man, just if you're gonna put this thing in the theater, it better fucking bring it. And this thing just did not. There's a reason why Terrifier 3 killed at the box office, and this thing is just like a fart in the wind that's gonna be gone in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hamstringed a little bit by its structure. Like, by the end of the film, there's like a montage where you're like singing the deaths of these people, and she's remembering them as she's flying up.
And I don't know a
it's
single
meant
one of
to
their
be-
goddamn names, who they are, except for
It's
the other
meant to be
lady, I
poignant.
guess.
Yeah, it's meant to be poignant, but because we only saw them once together in a flashback where everybody's like, okay, let's just really quickly sketch out these archetypes. When you're getting this like in memoriam at the end, I was just like, man, this just is not landing. I applaud the attempt. An attempt
And the
was made,
mind
but I
blowing
don't
thing
care
is
about
this
these people.
movie is a clean 90, and it feels endless.
No, it's like 2 hours long.
No, I thought. Are you sure?
Yeah, it's like yeah.
I think it's an hour and hour.
It's an hour and 35 minutes, Rachel.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You are okay. Time has dilated.
No, and I opened it up. and it was a
100%.
movie.
For
Listen,
sure it
this
was
isn't.
2
It's not.
hours.
If I'm Googling on my phone how long your movie is in the middle of your movie, not a good sign for
Yeah.
starters.
Yeah.
But I saw an hour 35. I sent you guys the Titanic meme where she's like, it's been 84 years. Like, and it's the third act just feels like it keeps going. It feels like there's a bunch of natural ending points and it just keeps going. And to find out there was more in the credits, I'm livid, honestly.
Yeah, there was like a mid, and then there was like a thing at the end.
There were 2 credit sequences.
Yeah, there was the mid where you saw the thing, and then at the end there's like one of those like sound things where you can like hear the creature being creaturey.
How bold to think I was going to want to sit around together for the first time.
Did you at least like that one of the movie's
It's what I would
references was
expect.
clearly
It's-
Prometheus?
it's
I thought
what I would-
maybe
It's what I would expect
That's-
from someone who calls themselves Flying Lotus.
I mean, look, Flying Lotus, super nice guy. We don't know. I really liked the 10 minutes when the creature, it turns into a body horror movie, and like the creature looks like kind of Elephant Man-ish.
Okay. Yes, I forgot. I will say
it's good.
this: my absolute favorite point of this movie, and my theater mate agreed, was the goddamn robot. The robot was fucking hilarious. I loved it. Speaking in this
Prometheus moment.
very like, I assume that was Japanese, but this very like very polite service voice, like happy-go-lucky
cheery.
service voice, while stabbing you and like ripping shit out of you. And then I love the little animations at the end where it shows what it did, and then it's like beep boop, have a good day. I mean, in a movie that's not really at all other than that funny, it's kind of weird, but it's
Yeah.
that was perfect.
Well, and
That's
some
my
of those,
biggest compliment I can give this movie.
I'll give him kudos for like some of the effects in that sequence and stuff too. Like watching that critter crawl up that one dude's nose was like, oh god, seeing how much they made it stretch and stuff like that. Those little moments were cool. I like that, and I did like the way this movie looked and everything. And especially that skyline with the screensaver mode or whatever. But it really frustrated me by the end of this movie because we get introduced to that. early on in like the first 5 minutes of the movie, and you're like, wow, that's spectacular. What is that? And you've got ideas running
Nothing.
through your head. Mine is, this is going to be a cosmic
Not a damn
horror
thing.
movie. Anything. It ain't shit.
Yeah,
And I guess it's just Wave's arms terraforming, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just looks cool.
I guess.
And to that point, for John's medical patches, we don't even know now after 20 minutes in this movie if it's dangerous for them to go out of the station without their masks on. If they need to wear the safe suits. Is she sick because of the atmosphere? Which I know that's part of the mystery, but
No, at some point the computer, I think, like when it's doing its like alarm voice in the beginning, it's like dangerously low oxygen or something. Like it was. My understanding was like they had done enough terraforming that it was like you could go outside a little bit, but you were gonna
Yeah.
die eventually if you.
I was thinking
someone-
that was the oxygen in the station.
Can someone explain one thing to me? So I was joking about this over text, but the first info dump or the first kind of twist comes when Aaron Paul. It's revealed that like, oh wait, no, but don't in the end we find out that everybody we've encountered was just a figment of her imagination? Because there's a scene where all the characters, we flash back to every scene and every character disappears and she's just talking to herself.
So everyone except for the other lady who comes
Yes.
back, and
But
she
that
kills.
means but that means Aaron Paul was just that really pissed me off because you spend so much of the movie just trying to figure out what's going on with Aaron Paul. It's
Well, it's
nothing.
just the alien.
Yeah.
His
just
first
the alien.
info dump though, so even though it really means nothing in the end, like his first info dump is basically about it's kind of revealed that he knows more than he was letting on about what had happened. And then but I missed a piece in there, and I'll tell you why I missed a piece, John. Because my 70-year-old father was texting me, asking me questions about the blockchain because he's trying to invest.
Yeah.
So thanks to you and Eli that I now have to explain fucking blockchain. to
Look,
my
we're all
70-year-old
learning
father,
about blockchain.
Which,
It's
by
great.
the way, I don't even understand.
Yeah.
I was like, Dad, I don't know. Just do it. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
You're like, yeah, I know where John lives.
Give him your
if
social
there's any
security number.
problems.
We're all going to be ash in 100 years anyway. Who cares? But like, what was the reveal though? Was it that? What was the fake reveal about this not real character? That he like knew that there was already an alien species here that was terraforming? Is that the detail I missed? So like
I
he
think
knew
he'd
they
known
were
about
walking into
the-
a situation where there might have been a hostile. There's
Didn't he already
something
know about the terraforming whole?
because when I
Yes.
looked up from my
Yes.
phone,
Yes.
she was mad at him, and I didn't understand why. And I assumed it's something like he knew more about the planet, what was going on, than he was letting on.
Yes, he knew about that. He knew,
Also-
like, he was privy to the mission that sent them out where this all started.
So they knew they had a feeling
Ah.
this was happening on this planet already, and they wanted to come in and
Because
hone in.
yeah, they had seen the exhaust. I thought from the.
But in reality,
thing.
this means nothing because that's all in her head, right?
No, that's all real. That's all took place earlier.
Yeah.
So the only person that was like fake that she saw was Aaron Paul. Everything else was flashback.
No,
And then
but if it all happened earlier, then how
She
is that
fight-
real?
so she fought the other woman which that was real because remember she sends her away and she's now come back. And so they fight. And like Aaron Paul kind of like tricks her by saying like Clark went crazy, that's how this all started. And so she ends up killing her, the one living person, and then eventually he disappears. But everything else we saw took place earlier in the film. They're all flashbacks.
So are you telling me Aaron Paul never existed as part of this crew?
No, he
No,
was a
he
part.
did.
No, he did, 'cause he's
he
in
was
the
one of the people that
flashbacks, but-
died
He's
this
the dead
happens
guy that was in
during the
pipes.
massacre.
This is
He
another
died.
thing.
He got-
This
because
is
it-
another thing. This movie's not very good at sort of making sure you visually see very important things. If you fucking blink, you will miss
Yeah.
in that flashback Aaron Paul getting his head squished.
Well,
which
and-
is your indication that this current one wasn't real because he was dead the whole time.
They also she does the thing where she scans his body and it's like time of death 51 hours ago. I remember this
Yeah.
now.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
You all were confusing me about being confused is what was happening. So
I did think it was funny though, because she first found out. We got the first hint that Aaron Paul wasn't real was when she was climbing through that back passageway and came across this body, which was supposed to be the big shocking reveal. But the lighting around the body and the makeup on it, you couldn't see that it was Aaron Paul very clearly. So they had
It
this
was-
big reveal to be, but you couldn't
half of
see
his
that it
face was
him.
gone. It
I know, but
yeah.
you couldn't really tell it was him with the shadows either, so it wasn't that effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody said this on Slack, and I truly believe this. So I sort of had this in my mind, but I very much agreed with it. If I'm just sitting around at home and I see this on the old Shutter carousel and I throw it on, I'm 70% less upset, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd be
I
more
assumed
forgiving
that was
if I
the
found
case.
it on Shutter.
Like, it's fine. But it's just, again, like, it's just mediocre. And
Yeah, but would it cost me $15?
It looks and sounds very nice. Yeah, mine was 17. It looks and sounds very nice, but the script is just a hot ass mess.
You know what I didn't like, and just for pure nerdiness, all the glowy shit on their spacesuits.
Oh, I kind of
What the hell was it for?
It's the exoskeleton. It's there. If you look at it,
Yeah.
you can see it's a spine, so it's like literally an exoskeleton. I thought it was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
I like.
I
the
didn't think
suit
about it
too.
being an actual skeleton in
But to
there.
Casey's point, what's the practical use for making glass there that could, or like some type of thing that
Right.
could be broken so you can see it
That
because it
was
looks cool?
That was 100% just to look cool. But it was an exoskeleton. It also made them stronger. Like they were able
Yeah.
to like,
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
but I'm actually with Rachel. I enjoyed the visual.
Yeah, I
of
thought it was fun.
Almost
I
like a
actually
loader in
spent-
Alien.
I actually spent a significant amount of time just being like staring at that stuff because I liked it to try to distract me from the rest of the movie.
Aesthetically, this movie is kind of great. Like I
Yeah,
said,
there's
even the
some cool visuals
interiors
for
I
sure.
appreciated.
Let's
And I
get-
really, I did
listen,
like the POV fight scene. I
Here's-
wish I was bummed that we did not get more fighting because like we cast the guy from the raid who's
know.
fucking incredible.
Here's
and
my
we get
hope.
like one
He's a
little
boss.
hiya, and that's
Whoever's
it.
listening out there, let's get Mr. Lotus with a better screenwriter, and then I think maybe we're
do it.
cooking with gas, right? Like,
Mm.
he's got visual flair, and the music. I mean, I didn't really talk about it, but the music fucks. It's right up
Music's
my alley.
great.
It's like
It's super vibey.
It's thematic, melodic synth.
Yeah, better
I mean, it's
screenwriter
no
and
the
an editor.
ravenous, but it's fine.
We're not slapping it on to do work like Rachel. on the
I
road.
got a laugh out of Eric. Okay, I'm signing off. I did what I wanted to do tonight.
I needed that today. Thank you. Rachel.
What did you guys think of the alien once it started talking to us?
The talking was real cheap. Like, I just
I
wish.
was like, oh,
I
my
wish it
eyes
had
were
I
something
liked
rolling
the
more-
there.
eyeball. I liked the
the
eyeball.
eyeball was fine. I wish it had something more profound to say. It was really kind of word salady and like not as
Yeah.
profound as the movie seemed to feel like it was.
Eric, I did check, and Flying Lotus also was the composer on the film.
Huh?
I mean,
No, I
makes
know that.
sense.
So
Yeah.
during the movie, so I had seen somebody in Slack say, I think it was Dusty or somebody, oh, I've been listening to the soundtrack. So I was like, oh, interesting. So I look it up on Spotify and I'm like, okay, it's by a group called Flying Lotus. Great. Then the movie ends and the credits come up and it's like directed by Flying Lotus. And I'm like, what? Okay, Jesus.
How
I'm
many
like,
people
listen,
directed this movie?
if you're going to be called Flying Lotus, this movie better be way better.
Did anyone else think that like I completely blended it with the people that did the new Scream movies? Because don't they have like a group name too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like some super
Oh,
group name for them.
interesting. I don't
And I was
even
like, oh,
know.
I think it's by the Scream people. And then I was like, oh, this is not by the Scream people.
It's like radio silence or something.
Yes, Radio Sound. Thank you. And they also did VHS stuff. So I'm going to give
Yeah.
myself a pass for blending. I'm very generous with myself in that way.
Miles says Flying Lotus produces a lot of music for Adult Swim. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I
That
haven't,
makes sense.
I haven't watched Adult Swim in many, many years.
I haven't either.
Is it still around? I didn't think it was still around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to bed at 9 p.m. But I used to back in like when I had a DVR, I used to DVR it and then watch it in the morning.
All the a lot of the old Adult Swim stuff is buried deep in Max.
Okay.
Oh,
interesting.
They got a hub in there.
I
very
loved
deep.
a good Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Love
Oh
that.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sea
Master
Lab?
Shake for life.
This one's a little more obscure. It was more of a late night one. But did you ever see Perfect Hair Forever? That show's amazing.
Oh.
Did you guys watch Children's Hospital? That was
That was
Adult Swim,
great.
wasn't it?
No, I've never seen
Fuck,
that one.
that show is incredible.
That's Rob Corddry, though, right?
I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric,
I love Rob.
Yeah, you would love
it's
it.
for you.
It's
I
also
was
like
there-
12-minute episodes. Like you can pound through those.
I
No,
was always
yeah,
there
I
for
like that.
Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Great
Well,
job. And Dr. Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You dingus.
You dingus. For
All
your
right.
health.
Would you recommend this movie, Casey,
No.
Rachel,
I don't think so.
John?
It's a no.
I'm also a no. 4 thumbs down. Thank you,
Crashing
Rachel.
Lotus and more like.
But
Down
the
in
soundtrack,
flames,
it sounds like
Lotus.
we're gonna be working.
Yeah.
on
Look up that
rotation.
soundtrack. It's actually great. It's fantastic. I'm way in on it.
We haven't had too many new movies, Eric. Do we still need to get the list out?
All right, guys, let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
Oh, Caitlin and Kissimmee also made me laugh. Info@bloodygoodhorror.com. Caitlin emails. Hopefully no one is having a bad day. Maybe she is. But if you are, remember that in episode 282, Mark found out that lemmings were a real animal. I love that so much. I need that. I kind of want to like grab that clip and play it on the show because it's fucking hilarious.
Were we talking about the video game, or like what was the context?
I must have been, and then somebody was talking about that's amazing.
God, those games are so good. I used to play the shit out of the first 2 Lemmings.
Those games give me anxiety. Anything that's kind of got even like a conceptual timer, I don't like it.
Holy hand grenade!
Yeah.
Some comments from YouTube, from our live chat. Liz, Eric, the back rows for Riff Raff. I mean, that is where you get up
100%.
to some shit. I was really just trying to get some.
Well, Eric, I had to find out. We didn't get the end of the story. Did you get that dude's number? Or how did you guys
John,
leave things?
No one has ever walked out of a theater faster the moment the credits started. That's why I didn't see his
I
bullshit
just
at the
like,
end.
who shows up at a movie and is like, maybe I'll make an adult friend today.
That's
Like,
what clearly what was that like. I
Rachel,
saw on the website.
Rachel, are we
I
missing?
know where
Is this like a pickup situation? Am
I
just,
know
like,
where that
missing
dude C
pickups?
was. Oh no, Rachel, is that what was happening?
Come on, man. What do you want me to say?
But like,
It's so obvious. You went to the back row. He went to the back row. What do you want? Like,
another reason to stay out of the back row
just had to
if
spit my
you're
drink out.
not playing that game.
I mean, I'm a type, I guess.
He's a back row man. Alright.
Must have been twunking it up last night.
like I'm like, is he? I was waiting if we were gonna ever get here. Like,
But is
I
this
was
one of those
just like,
situations, Rachel, where you just have San Francisco brain? Like, is that really what's happening in upstate New York on a random Tuesday? I mean, maybe.
Gay men are gay men everywhere, babe.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, it's a compliment.
I told the story once
was
on
that
the
guy
show,
in
but
that
I
guy's
was.
head? He's like, I want to see Ash, and like maybe I'll hook up too. Like if one
Listen,
other person.
I told this
shows
story
up.
once on the show.
There's
but this-
one dude in the back row. Like, what do you think's going on? Like,
Listen,
did
I
he
told,
tap his foot under the stall after?
No.
Like, come on, y'all.
Rachel, you were not around for this, but so at the beginning of the show, so like 18 years ago, I went to see a movie for the show in the theater, and go into the bathroom. And I'm at the urinal peeing, and a guy sidles next to me, starts peeing, and he proceeds to do what I can only describe as an aggressive lean and look over
Yeah, you got cruised.
to check me out, and
Yeah.
then just was like he
Yeah.
approved, and then
Excellent.
I freaked
you
the
know?
fuck out and like ran away.
Did he make like approving noises? or
There
you
was
just,
yeah,
like,
oh yeah, he made a
assumed
noise.
approved?
That's right, he made a noise.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
he was like clearing. He was going. He was doing like very obvious like throat clears. That I picked up. Like I understood what was happening there. For the record.
I think if you had given him even the slightest green light, but you were like ice cold, so you
No,
were
I
good to
fucking
go.
ran. Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't. It's It seems fairly obvious to me what was happening.
I like that he waited till like much later in the movie to kind of re-engage. He's like, maybe
Yeah.
he's bored enough now. Like maybe
Yeah.
this is time. Maybe this is our time.
I mean, at that point, maybe he was like, kindred spirits in the, but I think there's a reason why he saw you in the back. He went and sat back there, like engaged a
Well,
little bit.
I'll be honest,
got a
Rachel,
feel for it.
That just turns it into a flattering situation. So
I think
feel
it's
even
totally
better.
flattering.
Yeah.
You got cruised. You could have had a much better time in the movie.
I'm also.
And you had the place to yourself.
Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway, we can move on. Liz, the Eric tirade, such a good time. I know,
Indeed.
it's been a while since I brought the heat, but man, what a couple days.
We were worried coming in. You were definitely
Yeah.
foreshadowing. So
Let's see.
Yeah, we got to
Jace.
see it work Eric in the pre-show.
I have nothing to contribute this week except that watching this from a beach in Cancun is a superior way to enjoy this podcast.
oh my god.
What a dick.
Listen to this guy.
But also,
How
like,
dare
outta
you?
here.
what love and dedication that he's brought us with him. I'm
No,
actually pretty
salute to
flattered,
Jace
yeah.
as always,
Yeah, no.
but
That's fair.
whew,
Brutal.
missing the beach myself.
All right. That's it on YouTube. You can watch the show live, John. See what all the boys are coming to my yard about. Patreon.com/bloodgoodhorror. Live streaming version of the show, back episodes, Slack access, all that good stuff. Check it out. Casey, let's bang through some threads. It's late and I'm tired.
All right. We only got one, so you're in luck. Our good buddy, the drummer from Foghat, where do you all stand on ice cream cake?
Pro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
It has
I
cake
like,
in it.
It's below regular cake in my hierarchy, but I'm happy to eat it.
Yeah.
One more time,
I'd
what kind of
agree
cake
with
we're talking?
Ice cream
Ice
cake.
cream.
Cake.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I love an ice cream cake. Now I want some ice cream cake.
Former member of the show, Joe, as you know.
Well, that's what I was gonna
Huge-
say.
huge
If I
ice cream.
remember, Joe was like obsessed with
If he was here
fudgy.
right now, he'd
Oh,
say
yeah,
Fudgy
Fudgy the Whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a cookie puss girl.
Love it.
I mean, I will not turn down a fudgy. If,
Yeah.
if fudgy's at the party, I'm sidling right up.
You're
But
here.
if I'm heading to Fenton's, I'm getting me a cookie puss.
You would take fudgy to the back row of the movie theater. is
I
what
would.
you're trying to
I would. All the way to the back. I would be getting fresh
Hell
with
yes.
fudgy.
say. Oh boy. Everybody, keep your head down.
And that's it for threads, Eric.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Let's see what we got. I have not looked at these. Oh, we got a lot of new follows. That's cool. Are you able? How weird a sequel is this to Ash versus Evil Dead?
They went in some different directions.
What is Ash versus Evil Dead? That's not a movie. Is that like a
It's a
No,
TV
it's the
show.
series.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I watched a couple episodes of those.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Loved it.
Um,
I have a signed. I'm looking at a signed Ash versus Evil Dead poster on my wall right now.
Yeah.
Do you prefer? This is from Bow Wai. Do you prefer ashy or peaty Scotch?
I
You
prefer
can
bourbon.
also answer with a cool beer cider. I don't know what those things.
I
taste
prefer
like,
the
so.
peaty scotch myself, but I think I've only had one ashy scotch.
I actually like bourbon, and Scotch is kind of disgusting to me. So
Yeah.
I'll drink scotch. I'm not sure that I've had an ashy scotch, unless you're telling me things that are not peaty are just called ashy. I'm not familiar with ashy.
I don't know if it counts, but I once discovered a green tea that's very popular in China. That is like it must be somehow smoked or like cured with smoke or something. And just from brewing it, like literally, I brought this to work once, and people thought there was a fire. Like it's the most intense campfire smell and taste you could ever. It's too much, honestly.
In a tea?
But it's fascinating. Yeah, it's
I
so
like- I
strong and
love-
intense and like pungent.
Like I
It's
love
black-
a
it was black tea,
smoky ass
actually.
mezcal, so I think I would get into that tea.
It tastes like you took the ashes from a campfire and made tea out of them. That's exactly what it tastes and smells like. It's kind of a
I
lot.
would try it.
I'd try it.
Crazy. I'm okay. I will do the mezcal though.
I will be
Like a
honest and
mezcal
own up
Paloma?
that I will be honest. I have to have when I'm drinking the peaty scotch. I got to have some water in there.
I think I had a mezcal last when we were together.
I think you did.
I think I did. It is a go-to for me.
It's delicious. Heck yeah.
That time Eric ghosted us.
Psh.
I mean, that's not ghosting. It's just what I do. I prefer Irish goodbye. Ghosting implies I'm never going to talk to you again, which obviously not the case.
Here we are.
Last question from Brian Wolford. Now that Schnars is a big shot CEO, what would the rest of the hosts be CEOs of? Naps? Let us know. Ranting?
I don't know.
I'm the CEO of getting this goddamn show out every week.
Boom.
And so
The original CEO.
that's right.
I'll be BGH's CEO of Happy Dad Energy.
There you go.
I'm CEO of saying things that make John uncomfortable.
Yes. Perfect.
Look, we established you have to explain the sex things to me, and that's fine. Somebody has to do it. And so I appreciate
Established.
it.
It's never too
Rachel
old for the birds and the bees.
As we've established, Rachel explaining sex things to John, my favorite thing.
And here we are.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I know Rachel has the impression that I'm mostly innocent, but I know more than John.
You're on the internet more than I am, that's for sure.
I think you're wholesome. You have made a human being, so I think you know how this works.
I know a little bit. And a little bit.
Casey's been there. I think we're gonna offline discussion about what is next week. Is this next week where we had question?
Well, there's a release for sure.
What is it?
The Death of a Unicorn.
Yeah, we have
Oh,
Death of
that
a
movie looks
Unicorn, and we
cool.
also have The Rule of the Ginny Pin coming out on Shudder with.
But are you
John
out,
Lithgow.
John?
I'm out next week. But
Well, maybe we'll get a feeling.
Yeah.
Let me think about how the theater is gonna be for me. We'll figure it out. Anyway, really appreciate everybody joining tonight. Very much appreciate all the new follows and listeners. Everybody on YouTube who hangs out with us every week. Jace from the beach.
from Cancun,
Incredible.
even on vacation.
Yeah.
What's everybody else's excuse when they're on vacation? That's what I want
That's
to
right.
know.
When we figure out what we're doing, we'll let you all know. Check Slack and Instagram, and yeah. Hope you guys enjoy the show. We'll talk to you next week.
See yous.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.